that cognitive behavioral perspective as well. But I also use a lot of acceptance and commitment therapy. And I think the acceptance and, I think really all of it for me also, there's kind of that spiritual underlying piece to it. But, I love helping people figure out, why they're thinking the way they're thinking. And again, like, where does that come from? And I always like to kind of draw a picture of the mind in terms of our level of awareness and how our core beliefs, are formed over time and how that influences just those automatic things that we think about. So I think that's really exciting to help people see that they feel like the mind is like some hidden thing that you can't see what's going on in there, but you can. It just takes some time, to really dig in there. And so I think that's really exciting. But then I also use the acceptance and commitment therapy part of that, because I think a lot of times people will assume that if your mind is thinking something, you have to, like, it's true, or that you have to do what it says. I know that sounds kind of funny, but I also like to externalize that just because your mind is telling you something doesn't mean you have to do it. Like, there might be times we're driving down the road and we're like, mad at the person in front of us, and we might have a thought that we would never ever follow through on. And so I think a lot of times we kind of forget that, wow, well, just because I have this thought that I'm anxious and so therefore I'm not going to do XYZ, or I'm angry and so therefore I am going to yell at somebody or whatever that looks like. But we forget that there's times our mind tells us something and we would never, we just think it's a ridiculous thought. So I like to also bring in that acceptance and commitment therapy part, because help people create some distance between what your mind is telling you and then evaluate, like, well, where do I really want to go? So what is that part that I'm really committed to? What is that value that I'm really committed to? And how can I take steps towards living life consistent with that values? And really being congruent with who I am in my soul and in my spirit. And, knowing that you might have thoughts that are, they don't support you moving in that way. Well, you can just let those thoughts pass on by. You don't have to latch onto them and try to understand them. If well, this thought isn't really consistent with this belief that I have, and so I don't have to listen to that thought. But I am going to listen to the other thoughts that, help me take bold action and be courageous and be compassionate, and live a more congruent life and have more meaning in life, So that's how I kind of approach it.
Yeah.